Clark, a deep three!
Go Fever! Go Fever! Go Fever! Go Fever! Go Fever! Go
We finally done.
I keep the wind going. That's a dub, baby. Hey, baby! Back-to-backs are open! Back-to-backs are open! More back-to-backs! More back-to-backs! 3-0 on back-to-backs! Yo, I'm so proud of you. I am so proud of you. Like, way to be resilient, way to bounce back, a mental toughness. You know, that fourth quarter, 30-13. Woo! 30-13. C and Kels, my God. My God is awesome. Yeah, my God. I mean, that was just some incredible shot making, some incredible play making. Like, sometimes we're just over there standing on the sidelines like, holy shit. Really, really good stuff. Lex, I'm proud of you. I mean, wait to just keep it moving. One foot in front of the other. Big time. Mercedes? Mercedes a plus 18. I mean, good stuff. Okay, look, as we move forward, that is what it's going to be, okay? It's got to be about us digging in on the defensive end of the floor. We are going to be able to score, okay? But that effort in the fourth quarter was top-notch. Really good. I'm proud of you guys.
Another game is because we didn't done playing a great basketball game, but another time we're talking about this and not what's happening on the court.
I mean, I think it's important that people like you guys in this room don't give it any gas, right? Like it's a social media thing.
Caitlin, did this game feel? Wait, what's on tap?
Yeah, we'll get a couple days off. I mean, this was a grueling trip. So you know, we made a nice little star across the country, and you know we'll get some rest, a couple days off, and then we'll come back and get back to work. I mean, we've got a game on Friday. We're not on break yet. Get ourselves ready to go for Friday, and then we don't have a break. And then we don't have a break. We'll be off in Berlin, which we're thankful for.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all about staying ready, getting the opportunity, getting open looks, knocking them down. I think that's something that all of our guards, all of our players really just take pride in. Is you never know when your night's going to come. You never know when you're going to get open looks, but being confident and ready to knock them down. And I'm just happy with how it turned out tonight.
Just to get out of the way, I know y'all were involved.
If you made it all the way through that game, you deserve a cookie. You deserve a cookie and probably some vodka shots. Tequila? Whiskey? Oh, I almost went back to smoking during this game. I kid you not. It was a rough watch tonight. Caitlin Clark got the ever-loving shit beat out of her tonight.
Clark, a deep three!
Caitlin Clark was on the floor again, and this time, she was grabbing her knee. During Indiana's game against the Dallas Wings, Clark took heavy contact around her lower body and went crashing to the ground.
Well, They came after Caitlin tonight. She gets flat mugged right here.
Trying to adjust her time.
Flat mugged. What are we doing? I mean, yikes. She couldn't get a foul call if her life depended on it. Not tonight anyway. Not tonight. And then Odyssey Sims, I mean, for real, tackles Caitlin Clark. There's no confusion. She tackled her like it's the National Football League. And look, I like Odyssey Sims. She came through last year for the Fever. But that is crazy work. It really is.
The replay immediately exploded online. Fans were calling it a tackle. Others were asking how contact that looked this dangerous could happen right in front of an official without an immediate whistle.
This is unseen footage. When Caitlin Clark had the turnover, she's literally grabbing her arm multiple times. And look at the ref watch the entire thing happen and then calls a foul on Caitlin Clark for nothing. Just like when she was looking at Caitlin Clark getting hit with an elbow in the face. Watch this all go down. This is the problem here. Getting tackled. Like this game, there was no way they were going to let Caitlin Clark beat Paige again. And that's why when Caitlin Clark has an off game, I give her grace because the entire time the refs are cheating her. The other teams are grabbing her, pulling her, hitting her, you name it. It's a big bunch of crap. I promise you that. All this is the sisterhood of the WNBA fouling her for the entire game. And they'll say she has turnovers or she didn't play that good. And then not even watch the game to see that she was hit the entire time, not get any free throws, and then the refs watch it all go down. It's bullcrap.
But somehow, that was only the beginning. Because later in the same game, Paige Beckers grabbed Caitlin Clark's arm and held on while Clark tried to pull herself free. The whistle came late. Caitlin became visibly furious.
And some intensity growing here as Clark taking exception to the bump. You see Beckers grabbing the arm of Clark and Clark flailing the arm.
And suddenly, instead of everybody talking about what happened to Clark, people started talking about her reaction. But when you watch everything that happened before that moment, it becomes very difficult to blame Caitlin for being frustrated. Let's start with the play involving her knee. Clark was moving without the basketball when contact came through her lower body. She immediately went down. Both hands went toward her knee. And for a few seconds, this stopped looking like a normal basketball play.
Now, what if Caitlin would have got hurt? It was almost like she didn't want to hit Odyssey Sims. It don't matter. Odyssey Sims don't play for the damn team no more. You set the damn screen, Aaliyah. You set the screen. Caitlin was blindsided. You were supposed to set the screen. This is just one of many plays from Aaliyah Boston, and I don't even dissect the film of the game. That ain't even like my cup of tea. I don't even do the film, but hell, Stevie Wonder could see that was supposed to be a screen. My goodness.
Clark was on the ground in visible discomfort. The broadcast suggested the defender may have lost her balance, but fans watching the replay saw it very differently. They felt the contact looked far more physical than a simple stumble. Now we cannot know exactly what the defender intended, but intent is not really the biggest issue here. The bigger issue is what happened next. There was no immediate foul, no quick review, no whistles stopping everything to check exactly what happened. Caitlin Clark was lying on the floor holding her knee, and the game seemed ready to continue like nothing unusual had happened. That is where fans became furious, because this is the same argument that has followed Caitlin for a long time. Nobody is saying she should never be touched. This is professional basketball. Players are physical. Defenders are going to bump her, grab her, pressure her, and make every possession difficult. That is part of the game. But fans believe the standard changes depending on who is creating the contact. When Caitlin makes contact with somebody, the whistle can sometimes come immediately. But when defenders get extremely physical with Caitlin, supporters feel officials are much slower to react. And against Dallas, that frustration kept building, because later in the first half, another incident happened. This time, it involved Paige Bueckers. Dallas had a foul to give near the end of the second quarter. Normally, that is simple. You make contact. The referee blows the whistle. The possession stops. Everybody resets. But that is not how this one played. Bueckers grabbed Clark's arm and she held on. Caitlin tried to pull herself free, but the whistle did not immediately come.
They need Paige in the MVP conversation. She's the golden child, part of the sisterhood, whatever you want to call it. But again, the ref looking at her get intentionally fouled 3 times. Like, that says it all. If they don't call intentional fouls, like, there's something wrong here. But we've seen this for 3 years straight. And that's why when Caitlin Clark has an off game, I give her grace, because the entire time the refs are cheating her. The other teams are grabbing her, pulling her, hitting her, you name it. It's a big bunch of crap. I promise you that.
So Clark became more and more frustrated while she was basically waiting for the officials to acknowledge something everybody watching could already see. Paige was trying to foul her. Caitlin knew it. Paige knew it. The crowd knew it. But the whistle took its time. And that is when Caitlin finally showed exactly how annoyed she was. She started fighting to free her arm. She looked toward the officials. And once the call finally came, Clark fired the basketball down the court in frustration. That reaction immediately became part of the story. But think about what had already happened. Earlier, Clark had gone down holding her knee after heavy contact. Now she was having her arm held while waiting for another delayed whistle. At some point, frustration is going to show. And that is what makes this entire situation so interesting. Caitlin gets hit. She reacts, and suddenly the conversation becomes about Caitlin reacting, instead of the contact that caused the reaction. There was even another strange part of the Bueckers moment. Cameras appeared to show Paige saying something toward Caitlin that many viewers interpreted as telling her to calm down. Again, we cannot know exactly what was said from a short clip, but you can understand why that made fans even more irritated. Caitlin is the player trying to get her arm free. She is waiting for the referee to make an obvious call. And somehow, she is the one being told to settle down.
Paige Bueckers telling Caitlin Clark to calm down after yanking on her shoulder is wild, and we gotta talk about it. First of all, this is a classic case of gaslighting and emotional manipulation. All you haters out there, this is not a basketball move. There is a fundamental difference between a hard physical foul and a dangerous non-basketball act. Yanking a moving shoulder joint can cause significant long-term injuries, and no coach teaches you to do that. Immediately telling an opponent to calm down while laughing at them after exposing them to physical risk is delusional. I also love the whistle gap. You can see Paige foul her multiple times before the ref even notices. This is par for the course for the WNBA and their treatment of Caitlin Clark. I'd also like to point out this takedown, gotta love football on a basketball court, and this two-handed check that somehow Paige thinks is not a foul. Bro, you've been playing basketball your whole life. How about getting your hands off and moving your feet? Until the NBA starts aggressively protecting their biggest ticket, this stuff is gonna continue to happen.
But this was not only Caitlin getting frustrated. Stephanie White eventually appeared to have enough as well. White became extremely animated over the officiating, and that matters because she has talked before about consistency when it comes to how contact against Caitlin is handled. The argument is not that Caitlin deserves special treatment. She doesn't. The argument is that the same standard needs to apply to everybody. If something is a foul when Caitlin does it, then similar contact should be a foul when somebody does it to Caitlin. That sounds simple. But fans watching these games continue to feel like that consistency is missing. And when officials allow the physicality to keep increasing without controlling it early, eventually players become frustrated. That is exactly what appeared to happen against Dallas. The game became more physical, the whistles became a bigger talking point, and Caitlin Clark kept finding herself in the middle of it. First the knee contact, then the arm grab, then the delayed whistle, then the reaction. And suddenly, everybody was arguing again about how much physical contact Caitlin Clark should be expected to absorb before officials step in. There is another side to this. Defenders are going to be aggressive with Caitlin because they have to be. Give her space and she can destroy you from 3. Let her turn the corner and she can create for teammates. Allow her to play comfortably, and Indiana's entire offense becomes more dangerous. So teams are going to pressure her. They are going to get into her body. They are going to try to frustrate her. That is basketball, but there has to be a line. And that line is supposed to be controlled by the officials, because there is a difference between tough defense and dangerous contact. There is a difference between using a foul to give and holding on to someone's arm while they are trying to get away. And there is a difference between letting players compete and allowing a game to become so physical that somebody eventually gets hurt. That is why the image of Caitlin Clark on the floor holding her knee caused such a huge reaction. She got back up, she kept playing, but the replay is not disappearing, and neither is the bigger question. How many times can Caitlin Clark get knocked down, grabbed, or held before the officials decide enough is enough? Nobody wants basketball without contact. Nobody wants Caitlin protected from normal defense, but fans do want the rules applied consistently. Because if Caitlin keeps taking this level of contact and the whistles keep arriving late, this exact controversy is going to keep happening. And the next time Clark goes down grabbing her knee, the result could be much worse. Comment yes if you think Caitlin Clark is being allowed to take too much contact, because right now, the biggest question is not whether Caitlin Clark can handle physical basketball. She has already proved that she can. The question is how physical things are allowed to become before somebody finally steps in.